dirty and messy. So this will probably be a few videos, maybe in parts. Let's talk about Kamani. Okay, so Kamani, this morning, Friday, I went out to feed the horses like I always do, and I noticed Kamani laying down. Not that big of a deal, right? And then she stands up and I notice her braids are matted when they weren't last night. So her braids being matted tells me she was rolling a lot. So she stands up and she starts doing the flame in response where they do that thing with their lip, and she's stretching and acting really funny, and she's standing kind of tight at some points, and then she pooped, but it was like cow patty kind of poop. So I called my vet to kind of figure out, do I feed her, do I not, do I hand walk her, what do I do, kind of situation. So after talking to the vet, they were about to tell me like what to do, and Kamani dropped like a fly, literally just dropped to the ground. So the vet said, get her in now. So I got her in, got her on the trailer. When a horse is having colic, the best thing you can do for them in a trailer situation is take off their halter and their lead rope and turn them in there loose. If they go to lay down, they're not going to snap their neck or get hung up or caught up on anything. Just what my vet told me and what I think. Anyways, so get her to the vet, and the vet tubes her with some water because she was a tiny bit dehydrated. But in this heat wave that we've been having, that's really dangerous, even that little bit. She takes her temperature, and she gave her a dose of Banamine and said she's good, take her home. Oh, but here's since this is the third colic she's had this year, here's a number to a surgeon in Idaho. You need to call them to have her scoped for ulcers. Okay, so I did that. I called the Idaho place, and they said, okay, she hasn't had food since last night. You guys live a few hours away. By the time you get here, we could scope her, bring her now. So I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a couple weeks or whatever. So we get to Idaho. They automatically noticed that she did have an impaction colic, which my vet told me she did not have, which will kill your horse if it's not treated. Also, she was constipated. He stuck his finger like that far, like a finger length in, after he took her temperature and noticed it. Again, my vet said she was not constipated, and this vet's telling me she is, and showed me the poop and says it's got mucus on it, which means it's been sitting there 4 or 5 hours. We only live 2 or 3 hours away, so it was there when the other vet looked at her. Whatever. He says let's scope her, let's do all the blood work, she needs to stay overnight, let's do a fecal exam, let's do everything, the whole 9 yards. So they scoped her. They also tubed mineral oil and water down her. They scoped her, and they found a deep gash inside of her gut, which they said is from her hay. There might have been just a sharp point that she didn't chew up, and it just gashed her up. The problem is, because it's healing, they don't know how deep it is. There's a little bit of an ulcer right beside it. He said if there's one ulcer, he is not worried. That could be because of that gash. But she still had food in her gut, so she has to stay overnight and be scoped again Saturday morning. So they're going to do that. They also are worried about her kidneys because she has not peed all day. And she's bloated, constipated, impaction colic, dehydrated, and her bottom gut is not making the sound it needs to. So, yeah. So at this point in time, they're considering her critical condition, meaning she could go downhill at any point, and it could be really, really bad. Also, they put her in a stall with no food or water for obvious reasons. They did give her a little bit of water to drink on through the night because she is dehydrated, but enough to where they can still get that scope through tomorrow. But no food because they need to be able to get the scope through. So they put her in a stall with shavings, and we went in to say our goodbyes, and her mouth was filled with shavings, and she was just devouring it like it was her last, like the last thing she could ever find to eat. Like I can't even explain how she was eating it. So we told the tech, and she got the vet, and Kamani is now wearing a muzzle. That is where we're at now, and that's all the information I have right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will update you as soon as I can.